Hi, it's another fantastic day in Coto de Caza, Orange County, California. This is our clubhouse by our golf course. Here's our beautiful blooming fire red euphorbia. Here we got a blooming blue agave. The tree today here we're going to talk about looks like a cross between a weeping willow and a Peruvian pepper tree. This guy's called an African Sumac, sometimes called a Caree. And he comes to us from the highlands and the bushlands of South Africa. His scientific name, Searsia lancea. Some people call it a Searsia lancea. It used to be called a Rhus lancea, but the scientists changed the name of the genus. And he gets his name Searsia after this guy here, Paul B. Sears, who was the head of the Yale School of Botany in the 1950s. So this guy here and this one here as well, described as a small, slow-growing, graceful, weeping evergreen tree. They have a nice rounded crown, grows about 2 feet per year, gets about 25 feet high, about 15 feet wide. This guy's a lot wider though, maybe 25 feet wide. Wow. He's known for his upright branches with smaller weeping branches. They arch down to the ground and they have this big weeping-like foliage. It's a great shade tree for your garden, parks, or sidewalks, windscreen, or a hedge. And they are drought tolerant. And these trees here are dioecious, so the males and the females are in different plants. And these are both females. I'll show you. And the females get real messy after they drop their flowers and the seeds to the ground. Let's take a look at the bark and the branches, the leaves, the flowers, the fruits. I'll tell you how to take care of this at home here. So first of all, the root system, although it's not super invasive, you will get cracks if you're too close to the sidewalk here, as you can see. And the roots spread out rhizomes. And the rhizomes pop up to create new plants here. See how this is this little root here called a rhizome comes out, and up pops a little plant. Here's another one here. These are all rhizomes sticking out. Also, they'll propagate by dropping their seeds in the bark. You've got this gray, brown bark and orange, looking mahogany colors, which come out of the fissures here. And the main branches here, they're upright. As you can see, they point upward. And they're very curvy. It's very open. And then the branches, they split into branchlets, which then droop downward all the way to the ground, like this guy here. See how it branches out? It droops all the way to the ground. If you don't prune it, these guys will basically touch the ground. As well here, okay, when it's young, you get all these shoots coming out, or suckers, or new growth. So you got to keep cutting these little guys down to get this higher, trunk before the main branches come out. Those branches here, they get real heavy, and they'll droop all the way down, and sometimes they'll split and break off. So you got to prune these guys before that happens. All right. So the wood's not very strong on these trees. Let's take a look at this one here. They're both females, so pretty much identical. We'll look at the leaves of this tree here. All right, I'll pull one off here. Now they're identified because they come in sets of 3. There we go. Sets of 3 lance-shaped, very long leaves. You got a long one in the center here, and then 2 shorter ones on the sides. You have a very prominent yellow vein, leads up the whole leaf, and the inner side's a little lighter green, and the outer here is a little bit darker. Here we have these little suckers, little offshoots coming here and here, so make sure you prune those off, or you'll get big branches coming out of this tree. This really low height. Okay, now sometimes these leaves, they turn a little brownish gray and even reddish. And the flowers, this plant has no flowers on it. It's a little late in the season. Here's a picture here. Notice there are dioecious, so the male and females, they're different plants. The male has flowers and pollen. This can cause some allergy problems if you're sensitive. And the females have flowers, fruits, and seeds. And they blossom in late spring or fall. Let's take a look at the seeds here. This guy's got a lot. I don't think he'll mind if I pull them off here. There we go. We'll take a look at these little fruits here that will become seeds. Okay. And they produce these little fruits in winter. Little spherical balls. They grow in clusters or bunches, and they start out green, then yellow, then red, and then brown. And there's tons of these seeds, and the birds love the fruits, and they distribute the fruits all around town. So this can grow as an invasive plant, especially places, I don't know, like in Tucson, Arizona, or African Sumac here. Is considered an invasive species, but it's such a really pretty tree if you take care of it. They do droop real low here, so if you like that look, it's good, but they get real heavy and eventually it will break off. So are these little fruits here, are they edible? Well, the berries, they can be cooked or eaten raw. You can brew them in a little berry tea, or what's called a sumac aid, and serve that hot or cold. In the old days, you can make a beer out of this by pounding the fruits, adding water, and letting it ferment. You grind up and dry the berries, make a great tasting rub for your lamb or your fish or your chicken. They can be used as a topping for salads. Include them in your favorite salad dressings, and even sprinkle them on hummus. You'd also make, out of the wood here, you can make lots of tools, bowls, and even fences. So to propagate this tree, of course you can wait till these little berries turn into seeds. Do it that way. Or you take these little suckers here, they grow up, and you can find a good one and remove it real carefully from the rhizomes and replant that. You also get a new plant that way. And you grow this at home, okay, if you care to. They do get messy, so make sure you put it where you're not concerned about the mess. But they like full sun. They can tolerate both hot and cold temperatures. They're very tough and reliable in dry conditions. It does best with deep watering though. It likes well-drained soils. It really likes to grow in rich lime soils, but also sand, loam, and clay. Now overwatering is probably the most common problem with this plant. So always allow the soil to dry before rewatering. And prune off any diseased or withered leaves at least monthly. But this guy here is so healthy. I don't see any problems with them. Now continuously trim the tops. I'll show you here. See these little spikes coming out? Make sure you trim off those top shoots to keep this perfect little shape here. But don't shear the whole top. Don't take the whole top and shear it. Just the little guys sticking up here. That should really help. So diseases, there's two types that I know about. They're susceptible to verticillium wilt. What that does, this little fungus verticillium gets in the xylem, well, starts in the roots down here, crawls up in the xylem, then out the trunks and the branches and the limbs, and it works away all the way to these branchlets here, and rots away the tree from the inside out like a cancer. And there's no cure for verticillium rot. And it comes from really high moistures in the soil at the root. So try to keep this guy dry. And there's also something called Texas root rot. Okay, and that'll cause a sudden wilt and even death of this plant. It's a disease of the roots. And the first symptom is chlorosis, or loss of chlorophyll. And so the leaves with Texas rot, they'll start to just brown and turn black and just lose their chlorophyll, turn yellow, anything but green, because chlorophyll, of course, is green. And once you get that, you can kill this plant within like 2 weeks. Okay, so to cure that, manipulate the soil to be less alkaline. And that should help with Texas rot. So here you go. This is our beautiful African Sumac down here in Coto de Caza. Great tree. Wow. Okay, hope you liked that video. Have a great day. Bye.